This video is for people who can sense there is an immense change very rapidly approaching planet Earth. You might have no idea what it's going to look like or how exactly it's going to affect you and your life and people as a whole. But there's this undeniable sense that big change is on the horizon. There's like this collective pressure. Everybody's feeling it. Few are talking about it. And you sense that this pressure is going to give at some point, maybe relatively soon. And you might also sense that most people are just not ready for it. What does this represent? You probably already know if you're watching videos from me and this popped up in your feed. You probably already have a sense that the old ways of doing things is completely breaking down. The financial system, the way the governments operate, the corruption, this will to power, as Nietzsche says, all of it is no longer in harmony with the current vibration of the planet, which is raising by the day. It's causing this rapid falling apart, purging type of phenomenon. That's why everything's going crazy right now. And it's also happening on an internal level as well. And who knows what that's going to look like. But what you probably do know for sure is things are not going to be the same as they are right now. The way of doing business, the way of living life is coming to a close. And it might require a lot of people change and evolve and transform. And I'm making this video for the people who are ready for this, who will be okay, who already know how to navigate this type of dynamic of change and transformation. If you're watching this video, I doubt this is your first month having had some type of spiritual awakening. You've probably been on the path for a little while. And maybe you just now realized it. But if you look back, you probably have been going through this for a very long time. And it is my opinion, for what it's worth, that people like you are here to kind of balance out the energy. To not even necessarily do anything, but just to be okay, to stay cool as things change and transform. It reminds me of when I run a big transformational breathwork ceremony. If you ever been to, some of you have already been, and if you've been in person, you know how crazy they are, because what this is transformative breathwork, and it's like the epitome of a catharsis, an emotional catharsis. And about 20 minutes in, it's not uncommon for a lot of people to be sobbing, shaking, vibrating, yelling, screaming, wailing, retching, moving in very unusual ways. And the collective energy during this like collective purge it's madness, it's nuts. And anyways, believe it or not, I've had my young kids help me in ceremony. And you might wonder, how the hell are little kids going to help? And I'll tell you exactly how. And I'll tell you what I told them. I said, listen, the room is going to erupt into chaos, and you have only one job. They're like, what, Dad? I said, you got to stay cool like Fonzie. And then I had to explain who Fonzie is to them. They're young. They're like, okay. I said, you're going to hear a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. And I want you just to act like it's no big deal. Like, just, okay, fine. Someone's thrown up in a bucket, cool. Someone's yelling obscenities over there and, speaking in tongues, fine. I gave him a little feather fan. My wife gave it to him, and they just wave the fan, and they stay cool. And you know how many people I've had come up to me and say how helpful it was to see them? You see a little kid that's not fazed. It's like, oh, maybe it's okay. Maybe I'm okay. And that is, I believe, why a lot of us are here. Because I think for a lot of people, they're going to start going through what you've been going through for the first time. But you know how that is. Like, I don't know about you, but when I first went through my awakening, I didn't know which way was up. In fact, I have a friend, Aaron Dowdy, and we always joke because we're now like these YouTubers, right? But when we met, we sort of confessed that back in 2011, when we were kind of experiencing like something similar to this, honestly, we thought like actually believed we are going to ascend. Like come 2012 and the Mayan calendar ends, we thought we were going to somehow dissolve and enter a completely new reality. And we believed that so wholeheartedly that we both really, you could say it, putting it lightly, neglected our financial responsibilities. I ran out of money, sold my home. He quit his job. And when he let his car get repoed, like we just like gave up. The point is, like, I'm not a stupid person. I'm also not crazy. But when confronted with many things that just blow your mind, that can come along with a spiritual awakening experience, a lot of you have been through it. Kundalini symptoms, floating out of your body, crazy, mind-blowing synchronicities, dreams that aren't even dreams. You're traveling, you're going places, memories of past lives, processing grief or fear or anger or whatever from your great-great-great-grandmother, and somehow you know that, but it feels like it's yours. All these things, it can create a just without guidance, without stability, it can go a lot of different ways. In fact, I'm reading a book right now called Spiritual Emergency by Stanislav Grof, and he talks about how spiritual awakening phenomenon is oftentimes misdiagnosed as psychosis, and the people are put in hospitals or put on medication. Now I'm talking a whole planet going through something like this. I don't believe humanity is ready, but I think it's going to be okay because of you, because of people like you. Now, I would guess on one hand, what I'm saying, if this is reaching the right people, hopefully it is, on one hand, this resonates. And you're like, yeah, that's some crazy shit, Vic, but I feel it. And on the other hand, you also might feel not really prepared. Like, well, yeah, I have some experience. Yeah, I get it, but I'm a mess. And that's really why I'm making this video. To let you know something I learned long ago when I felt this calling to step into this position of leadership. On one hand, it felt like something I'm meant to do, something I have to do. It sometimes felt like, honestly, like fate was not gonna let me off the hook. But at that point, I felt like an imposter. I felt like I'm still a mess, man. I still have really bad days sometimes. I still become very resistant to change and resistant to my own incoming of energies, and I act out unconsciously constantly. I still have bad habits. I still have a lot of work to do. I don't always have faith. I never have patience. My life is still kind of crazy. How am I going to do this? But what I found is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be flawless. Oftentimes, in not being flawless, you're actually more helpful. What comes to mind, I think I've shared this before, but I train martial arts, and I normally go to this one dude, Angel. He's like the main sensei, you could say, kickboxing instructor. And he's very experienced, very good, very high level. And it's an honor to work under him and to learn from him. But once in a while, he's got kids, he's busy. Once in a while, one of his fighter students will step in and teach the class. And that, they're far less experienced, just far less experienced than him. But I get almost as much, but in a different way, out of working with these guys because they're so close. They're so close to where I am that it's almost more relatable. Like I'll watch Angel perform some crazy ass kick and it's like, okay, maybe in 5 years I can attempt that. Well, the other people, they're ahead for sure, and you are too, but they're still learning. They're still students. They're still, but that allows them to teach in a different type of way, in a very special sort of way where I'm always happy whenever someone like that trains a class because it's a different type of experience. And you can be a teacher and a student at the same time. And that is what is probably being asked of you right now if you resonate with what I'm saying. In fact, I've met some, I wouldn't say masters, but some really high-level spiritual people, shamans, medicine people that have been doing it for, decades. And it's not only that they run the ceremonies, but the way they carry themselves is also very noticeable. The amount of integrity they have, just the way they speak. They don't gossip. They're very like calculated almost and very mindful. And it's really a blessing to be around them. And anyways, one of them said to me one time, as we were kind of discussing this, he was kind of teaching us this. He said, I have bad days. I still struggle. I'm having a difficult time with my marriage right now, he said. he said someone told him long ago, his teacher told him, what is a master but a student of a master? Are you not a student of self-development, personal transformation? How many books have you read about bettering yourself? How many YouTube videos have you watched? How much experience do you have right now confronting your shadow consciously? Now ask yourself that same question to like the masses, the mainstream people in the mainstream media, the people in corporate America, like the general population of people out there everywhere. How much experience do you think they have? Zero, for the most part. Very, very little, comparatively speaking. And I'll tell you the truth, to this very day, I've been on YouTube teaching like this for 10 years. And I had about a decade of awakening before even doing that. And I still feel like an imposter sometimes. Just yesterday, I was having, not a meltdown like a little baby, but I was almost panicked, in like a panicky state and kind of like venting. And my poor wife, what a godsend. She'll just listen to me and she holds space for me, and I will for her as well. But I remember thinking like, man, as much as you've learned, life still can bring you to your knees in an instant. But it doesn't matter. I'm still here. Had kind of a weird afternoon as well, but here I am, you know. We have our moments of clarity, and you will as well. Another thing that happens when you actually allow yourself to step up to the plate as you are, you'll find that you can start tapping into things that you didn't even know were there, that didn't need to reveal themselves because you weren't doing anything with it. This might require some type of activity on your part, some type of action, some type of courageous creation or something. And you might feel like I just described, like an imposter. I'm still a student, I'm still learning, I still have a lot of work to do. True, probably is true. But what you'll find is there are other parts of you that come online when you take those first few steps. I remember I felt called about like 5 or 6, 7 years ago to be like a spiritual coach, which is a very like tall order if you ask me. Like that's quite a title to give yourself. But I felt like I needed to do it. Felt like I was meant to do it. Felt like I had to do it. People were asking me to do it, so I did it. And I went in feeling exactly as I'm describing, very apprehensive. But what happened was, I remember on like one of the first calls, I was listening to somebody talk, and they were sharing about like their life dilemma or something. And I felt this strange feeling in my chest. And I felt it, I knew what it was. It was the same feeling I had years ago when I had a past life regression. And I was like processing this very old, like stale energy. And that would happen to me sometimes when I was talking to somebody and they were talking about something current for them that stems from something very, very deep and from their like deep, dark past. And anyways, this phenomena started happening like all the time on calls. And then I, as a coach, I would know, oh, there's something here. I know I need to kind of steer the conversation in a way where this person becomes aware of what I'm already feeling. This sort of psychic sense just came online right when I began coaching. Your mind and your life experience might be very limited for what life might be asking of you now, but your soul knows all this. Your soul has probably even been through the same exact type of collective upgrade before. I would think. I feel like I have. And that depth starts to emerge parallel to your continued learning, processing, etc. But it begins to emerge, and there's a way to kind of tap into it when it's needed. So What I'm trying to say here, my friend, I'm trying to encourage you. I feel like the world really needs people like you. And if you're like anything like me, I put it off for a long time. I felt the same calling 6 years before filming my first YouTube video. 6 years before. And you know what? I tried. I tried filming videos and I got so frustrated because of everything I'm describing, the imposter syndrome, the doubt, the anxiety, the lack of experience, the negative thinking. And I eventually broke my camera and gave it up for 6 freaking years. I had no guidance. I had no one like this to tell me, hey, bro, it's going to be okay. You'll learn as you go. Have patience with yourself. Have patience with the process. Just because it's hard now doesn't mean you can't become better. Doesn't mean you won't continue to discover more and more and more of your power along the way. And the fastest way to get there is to start doing the thing. As Ralph Waldo Emerson likes to say, is do the thing and you will have the power. And I know there's a lot of powerful people right now watching this exact video at this exact moment who have something to do and have the potential to have that power, to really rise to the occasion. I personally am an optimist. I have a feeling what's going to happen is more of what we're seeing in the world. More decay, more collapse, more coming to light, more corruption. I feel like it's going to linger for a good while. And then I have a feeling something's going to happen at some point in the near future that's going to create like a domino effect. Maybe it's extraterrestrials coming. Maybe it's something with AI. Maybe it's some type of, I don't want to put anything out there, but who knows what it'll be. But I think right now, everyone can feel something coming, and it's still hidden enough to where the majority of human beings can keep lying to themselves, keep pretending it's not there. But I think sometime soon it's going to be there, and you'll be good. But I think if you're watching this video and you feel like there's something you came to do now, it'd be a good idea to get on it. And I know how hard that is. I'm going through it again right now. I'm literally going through this exact sort of like metamorphosis that I didn't really request. It's just sort of like being demanded of me right now. And I know how reluctant I am, even though I've kind of been through it a couple of times. This reinvention of yourself, this pursuit of something completely new that you feel unprepared for. But I know, like, imagine if I never got back on YouTube. How many people who are seeing this, even right now, this one video, wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't be here. You can have a similar effect, whether you're a YouTuber or an artist or whatever it is your soul is trying to get you to do. It's not just for you. It's for other people. And it's awesome too. It's going to be cool for you if you can get past the hump of like being a beginner and feeling like an imposter. A lot of cool surprises come along. A lot of divine support, a lot of neat experiences, a lot of personal growth. I'd be curious to know if you feel what I'm talking about. You can tell me, this guy's freaking nuts. He's in his own little world. Tell me that. I want to know. I don't think that's the case, but I'd be very curious to know if this video resonated and you feel it too. Please leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.